Ready?
I guess so.
Oh, well, you got to give the people what they want. I can fix up my hair. This is probably all going to go in the intro, by the way, because we're officially rolling now. Welcome, everybody, to the final Australian edition episode of the Reminisce podcast. I decided, after much deliberation and talking with my legal team, it was time that I'd set up the game, get someone in, because they're like, my lawyers were saying that they're more concerned about my mental health than they are about the podcast quality of what I'm talking about. As you can tell, my brain has turned to mush. So everybody, welcome again, a repeat offender, guest honor, my wife, Caitlin Hughes.
Hello. I'm back. Welcome back.
And we are here with a couple of bevos at midday on a Tuesday. Cheers to that, because we are moving in a week. Yay. Officially from today.
We are.
That's some good soup right there.
Good
so, if you don't know, well, I don't know where the fuck you possibly could have been over the last month or so, but Kayla and I are moving to Canada, and we're wrapping up everything as we speak. Our house, as you can tell, we're sitting on the floor, and it's echoey as fuck because, you know, we don't have anything in our house.
It's all gone.
It is very empty in here. So, yeah, I just thought it would be good to bring Caitlin along for the final episode, because it made sense. And this way we can kind of talk shit about Melbourne, what our plans are when we get to Canada, what we want to do in the future. Everything will be unveiled over the next 40 minutes or whatever. So, one thing I did forget to set, though, was my timer, so I know how long we're blabbing on for.
Rookie.
Fucking rookie.
How many episodes in are you?
Not enough or too many. I don't know.
I'm just going to roast you this whole podcast.
Yeah, this is just... I'm already having flashbacks to my childhood. So, to catch you guys up to speed... because it's been a couple of weeks since I actually did an episode. I turned 30, which was, you know, I thought that was pretty cool, if I say so myself. I don't really know. It was kind of weird, only in the sense that we've been in this pandemic for nearly 2 years now. This is my second birthday in lockdown, the second birthday where I was allowed picnics. At least, so fucking look out, we're getting lit in the park. But yeah, because, you know, people asking me, oh, you turned 30, you know, do you feel any different? The answer is no, I don't. I woke up realizing we're still in a pandemic and thought, well, thank fuck we're moving in a couple of weeks. So,
well, you say you're not feeling it, but also this morning I thought you fell over and had an accident in the shower.
Tell the people, fill them in.
So Warwick's in the shower and I hear this noise, and I'm like, oh shit, something happened, because he's, you know, elderly now. And I call out, I'm like, are you okay? No answer. So I come in and he's just like normal, like just shampooing himself, whatever. And I'm like, are you okay? Like you yelled. I thought you'd fallen. You'd had a fall.
Grandpa had a fall.
Warwick's had a fall.
Call the ambulance. My husband's had a fall. How old is he? 30. We'll send someone right away.
We'll be right there.
We'll be right there.
No, he just bent down to pick up the bottle of shampoo or something, and it was very strenuous on his old crippling body.
Yeah.
So.
Well, to give context, I was gardening. I guess you could call it gardening.
You're really showing your age now.
I know.
Gardening.
I was actually thinking that. After I finished. So cleaning up the courtyard, we just had leaves everywhere from autumn that we couldn't be fucked cleaning up. And then it came time to actually clean it up. And I was like, fuck, I've got to do this. So I was cleaning it up, and that's where my legs hurt, because I was fucking squatting for an hour straight. And then...
Good workout.
Yeah, great workout. And then at the end, I looked at it and I hosed down our pavers, because we just have a courtyard. We got no grass out there. Just hosed down the pavers, and I was just like, "Yep, that's a fucking good looking courtyard." And I was like, "Oh shit, I'm getting old now."
It's happened.
And then yesterday as well, I used a Dyson for the first time, and I was like, holy shit, this is a game changer. Now, I don't think that's really like an old person thing, though. That's more of like a tech thing. In a way, it's like my worlds are colliding. Being old and tech are just like coming together, and I've got new appreciation of technology to make an old person's life better. So that's where I laid with that.
We're getting a Dyson when we move back, if you're wondering.
Yeah, we have concluded.
We're converted.
We've spoken to our finance team, and they thought it's a great investment. You guys should definitely go ahead with it.
I'm the finance team.
Caitlin's the finance team. Now, speaking of finance, we have been on a fucking roll, haven't we?
Oh.
Facebook Marketplace, we have fucked that up. Mark Zuckerberg probably called us and was like, yo, you guys need to chill the fuck out. Like, for some reason, Facebook Marketplace, you know how Facebook crashed, like their stock crashed the other day because it was down? I think they're headed for another crash because of us.
Because of all the shit we've been selling.
Yeah, I reckon Facebook's going to have to start taking a cut, to be completely honest with you.
The secondhand furniture market is booming at the moment, and we were cashing in on that.
Well, the secondhand market just kind of, in general, has just been very good to us, you know?
Yes.
We sold our car, finally. Holy shit, what a journey that was.
A relief.
A relief as well, because we didn't want to pay a fucking fat car loan while we're on the other side of the world.
And insurance and rego and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, that was... But we got that done, which was, yeah, again, a super stressful time. I don't know if I told the story of like the other people that... Because we didn't have that many people check out the car. But one of the people that did, that was the first time I have ever felt unsafe in our car, and I'm a shit driver. You know, I've had
the only two damages to the car were the front bumpers.
Were from me.
From work.
It was
well done.
And it was in parking spots. Just to give you context on where I stand as a driver.
Going 2 kilometers.
Yeah, like it's
low impact,
it's embarrassing.
high damage.
Emotional damage, really, more than anything. So the people that came and, well, because Caitlin wasn't there, basically, as people rolled up, I said, hey, you can take the car for a test drive, but I'm going to need your license. And they said, we didn't bring our license. And I was like,
do you even have a license?
Yeah. I need to go on the subreddit Hole Up and just be like, hold up, what? So I was like, okay, in my head, I'm like, well, what the fuck are we going to do here? Because I'm not going to let these random bozos take the car for a test drive. Do you know what's...
Excuse you.
Excuse me.
Rude.
The bubble's already getting to me. So I was on Reddit the other day, and someone's car got stolen from a test drive.
Like from a private sale or from a car lot?
Private sale.
Private sale. I mean, I'm not surprised.
To be fair, it was in St Kilda.
Oh, but I mean...
That kind of explains a lot of it.
A little bit. But also, think about how easy it would be, though. Just jet off.
Well, this is what the story was. So, sorry, sidebar, because this is a pretty... not even interesting
Side quest.
So, yeah, side quest. So, the person was saying that they were... You know, they knew that they lived in St Kilda, and they knew the risks involved living in St Kilda. So they said to themselves, okay, so when this person comes, I'm going to... I think it was a female that posted it, only because context is important, because she said, my partner will go with the person for the test drive.
Okay.
And they got a copy of their license and everything, and as they're holding the license and the guy was getting in the car to test drive it, this person's partner went to go in the car and they locked it. They locked the door in front of him and then just drove off. How mental is that?
But they had their license.
Yeah, but I don't know. They didn't give context.
A fake license
I didn't know if they gave context if the license was fake or anything. But anyways, so that was obviously a big concern. Because I was like, fuck, if anyone steals this car, and then sure, we've got insurance, right? We can just get a payout and we can pay out the loan that way, but it's such a fucking hassle. So anyways, what I was trying to say is with these people that came and test drove it and I was really unsafe because they didn't have their fucking license, they said, you can come in the car with us. I was like, all right, cool, whatever, I'll fucking be in, I guess you guys are my Uber drivers for the day. So I got in the back seat of my car, which I've never been in the back seat of that car, I don't think, for
Not
a drive.
for a car ride, no.
The only time we have was when we bought the couch, and you had to sit in the back because we had to lay down the front seat. If you're wondering, Jeeps great for fucking carting around couches. You know, very very happy about that, about the space inside that little thing. So yeah. Anyway.
You're sitting in the back, and I'm wondering where are you, because you were just going out to show them the car, and you were gonna grab their license or their keys or whatever, and they were just gonna take it for a little spin, but then you didn't come back.
Yeah, Caitlin.
And I was like, this is it. He's dead.
Yeah, Caitlin sent like a little SOS, like, you know how you have to press your iPhone thing like 5 times and it's emergency services? That's what it was. So then, I had to explain to her that I was going with these people. Anyways, this is such a fucking non-story, but it's the most exciting thing that's happened during this lockdown. So they're taking it for a spin, and the guy brought a friend, and he was like, oh, can my friend drive it as well? I was like, okay, fucking whatever. His friend gets in, and all of a sudden, I'm in GTA. This motherfucker is like gunning it, slamming the brakes on, tailgating people. I was like, this guy's going to mount the curb and get 5 stars any fucking second now. And
He's
like
just giving it a thorough test drive, though.
Yeah,
like,
and our street has like a lot of speed bumps on it. Mind you, I don't know why our street has speed bumps on it. It's like a pretty narrow street. Like, it's pretty hard to go fast.
I guess it's a hill, so people will just like gun down the
that's true. It is
slope.
A bit of a steep
and there's
hill.
an intersection. So
yeah. So this guy decides, now's my chance. I've seen Final Destination, and I'm gonna fucking send this car. Was it Final Destination? No, he's played GTA, and he's like, I'm gonna send this car.
He's decided his Final Destination.
Yeah, and I, like, the whole time I was like, man, in the end, they were just like tire kickers, you know. They were just like, I'm not sure, blah blah blah, and like that was the issue I had with the car. People were bringing their problems onto me, and I think that's been a lot of the issues in general when we've come to sell things, right?
Yeah. It's like, oh, I want this, but it won't fit in my car. Can you pull it apart for me? Your problem.
Yeah, not my problem.
Oh, I want this, but oh, sorry, is it not white? It's grey. I thought it was white in the photos. No, sorry, it's grey. Oh, I need a white one. I'm like, why is this my problem?
Why is this my issue?
I don't care what you do with it.
Yeah, so
just take it.
That's what. So selling the car as well. People were like, "Oh, I'm trying to." The guy that we sold it to, it ended up being fine, but he was like, "Oh, I'm trying to use it for my business, and I need to do this and that to the car. So can you haggle me even lower?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "I don't give a fuck what you do with the car. It's like
that's your problem.
The car is
There's nothing wrong with it.
Exactly. The item is valued at a certain percentage or certain price. Just pay the fucking price. That's all you need to do. Okay.
Everyone wants a good bargain. That's the problem.
I know.
You put it up for X amount, and they're going to bargain you down. Every time. In
saying that, though, we have been getting really. We fucking went really good with selling shit, and honestly, that's like a good hood rich story. So what I've been telling in previous episodes is things that I've done that were just like hood rich moments, you know, and this right now, selling shit on Marketplace, that's a fucking hood rich moment and a half. You feel baller, don't you?
Well, yes. I've never had this much cash on me since I was 19 and bought my first car in cash. Cash
in the bank, not liquid cash on us. So no one fucking run up on us and rob us, okay? We mean in our bank accounts, okay? So don't, you steal our wallets, whatever. We'll just cancel our cards. It goes in the ATM
immediately because I'm too scared to have that much cash on me, ever. Exactly. Like $20 is too much cash. Who uses cash anymore?
Yeah, I know. And
besides buying things on Facebook Marketplace.
And like, that's the other thing with the whole, like, another whole sidebar thing. Where do you see, like, there's a massive divide online, right, of people saying we're going to live in a cashless society, and that scares the shit out of them. What's your stance on that?
I think it's the future. I've always, it's just so much easier.
Yeah,
I just find cash wasteful. Like, if I have $20, I will, buy a coffee with it or something. And then with that change, it just sits in my purse, and then it gets down to however many couple of dollars and cents. And then you never end up spending it. It just kind of you don't know what happens to it. Whereas if it's in my account and the exact amount comes out, it's just makes more sense. Did that make sense? I feel like that didn't make sense.
Yeah, no, well,
I hate carrying
Yeah.
like coins anyway.
the vast majority of people fucking hate cash. It's more of a hassle than what it is worth because everything's tech now. Like my whole wallet, like both of our wallets are on our phones.
Yeah.
So we even hardly take our wallets around. Once there's like digital licenses and passports,
Oh,
that's a
done.
wrap. It's a wrap, you know.
Done.
I'm only going to have my phone on me. Because you're just trying to streamline your life. And like, yeah, okay, to be fair, we are two white people and we might be flashing our white privilege card here when it comes to the whole cashless society thing. But in general, like it's just the way it's going, like with how advanced technology is now. It's no surprise in like, what, 5-10 years at the most? Like it's
I feel
still...
like we're already getting close to that.
Yeah. Well,
But also, I'm terrible at math. You know this. I'm atrocious at math. And if someone asks me for money and I have to like count, no.
Yeah,
With my
yeah.
card, I can just, on my phone, I just tap it.
Yeah, that's
it's done.
true.
I don't have to calculate in my mind.
Which is
Don't do it.
really funny because I've spoken about this in previous episodes, but I'm surprised how much of a math guy I've kind of become.
Rude.
Yeah, I know.
Can you stop burping?
I'm trying to, but
Disgusting.
it's the bubbles, Babs. The bubbles.
Cheers.
It's the gin and tonic. Yeah, that's cheese is shit.
You're smashing yours.
Yeah, I know. I'm so bad at that. Drink break. Yeah, I'm really bad at slamming down drinks. Maybe that's something that I can work on.
No, you're good at it. You're slamming it down quicker than me. Is that what you mean?
No, but but that's how I get trashed if we go out. Because the more drunk I get, the quicker the drinking gets.
I see no problem.
People are gonna like listen to this and like, what the fuck is Warwick an alcoholic? Like, is he good? The fuck?
Are you good?
Am I good? I don't know. So yeah, another thing as well. Fuck, all I said was since the last episode was I turned 30, which was pretty monumental, I guess. But we as a city are out of lockdown now. Yay! But yeah, like I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm very much like when we came out of lockdown, I was like, yeah, cool, we get to see friends and family before we go. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I was like, nah, damage is done. I'm very keen to start a new life.
Oh, we had mentally checked out in February.
Yeah.
We weren't anticipating that lockdown would go this long, but also we weren't anticipating that we would come out of lockdown like the week before we left.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, obviously at the start of the year we were in a pretty good position. Like Melbourne was in a pretty good position for COVID, and we had a few little snap lockdowns, but for a few months we were good.
Yeah.
And then Delta entered the chat.
Yeah, Delta Goodrum came and fucked everything up.
But I don't know. Obviously we're very excited that things are open again and we can see our friends and family before we go, and we can, go to restaurants and go to the cafe and have a bit of normalcy before we jet off. But also we're not like trying to go out every day. We're not trying to go to restaurants every night.
Because we need that negative COVID test before we go.
That too. It's too much on the line at this stage.
Yeah. So what you're concluding to is it was a wrap at the beginning of the year. Like we were already kind of like, nah.
Well, it was like lockdown or not, we're moving. Like we made that decision. So
for sure.
Coming out of lockdown wasn't going to change our minds. We're too far gone.
Do you...
Gladly though.
Oh yeah, for sure. Do you think there might have been... Because I personally don't think there was a chance that we would back down from this decision at all. But I feel like if there was a time to back down, it would probably be something like the visa process. But we did the visas in March.
Yep.
Fuck, we did the visas in March.
Yeah. Do you remember when we were like, only 8 months to go, and then it was 8 weeks to go, and now it's 7 days.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing. I have mentioned this before as well. The amount of anticipation that it was to keep it a secret from everyone, because we got our visas approved way quicker than we thought. We got them approved in the beginning of May. Right?
Yeah, completely done in May.
Yeah, completely done, completely approved. The whole process was 6 or 7 weeks, and we thought it was going to take probably 4 months or something.
Well,
4 or 5 months.
We weren't even sure if we were going to.
Yeah.
When we first decided, the pools for the like the pools for the visa weren't even open, so we couldn't even apply. We were looking at like alternate routes of like permanent residency and like what else we could do just to get into the country. But
Yeah.
we weren't expecting it all to like happen so quick and so easily, like especially when there was so much online about people struggling to get visas, and it was really easy for us.
Yeah, I'm still kind of shocked by that because I thought it was going to be complicated from the get-go purely just because of my process with like everything, all the extra shit that I had to do to get the visa.
You got yours before me, and yours was the more complex one.
I don't.
How?
I still,
How? Oh
my god! You just peaked the microphone.
How?
Yeah. So I got mine like what, a week before yours or 4 days,
like,
something like that.
Yeah, it was almost a week.
But
I was panicking.
I don't think I've really probably explained this, but what the people don't know is my visa was incomplete. I didn't even finish everything. If anything,
well, technically no, but you can still be approved for a visa on the grounds that you will provide the documentation before you get there.
Yeah. But I had to do a US police background check. I think that was the main thing I had to do, right? And then
and your driving records from Queensland,
which I only just did like a month ago.
Yeah.
But, it's so weird that my visa got approved before yours, and I technically only just finished my visa like last month.
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
I was panicking. I'm like, cool, well, guess we're getting divorced and you're going to Canada and I'll just stay here then.
Live amongst the mooses.
Meese?
Yeah, what is
moose?
I don't know. Well,
what's
I guess
the plural of moose?
I guess we'll find out next week. Because by the time this episode comes out, because it's Tuesday today, so in a week from today, we are leaving Sydney to fly to Canada. So in the next episode, because there'll be a bit of a gap, because obviously we've got to settle in and all those kind of things, but this podcast doesn't take much to set up. We can do this again, you know?
I mean, we're already on the floor.
We're literally, or like, this is the lowest that the podcast will get in terms of where everything is, in terms of the lowness of the floor, I guess. But anyways, so we are leaving Melbourne, and it is sad. So let's take a trip down memory lane. Now, not really for us, but like our relationship with this city. So you give the background. I'm pretty sure in the last episode that you were here, you gave a background of your relationship with Melbourne and how long your generations have been here.
Yeah. I don't know exactly how many generations, but my family's always been in Melbourne. I'm not sure about my dad's side, but I know that on my mum's side, like her great grandparents moved here from the UK, and
that's fucking wild.
Always in Melbourne. Same with my dad.
So if your mum's great grandparents, did you just say?
Or maybe it was her grandparents, because I'm pretty sure my mum's eligible for like a UK passport.
That's right. No. Yep. It would be your mum's grandparents. So it's your great grandparents then. That's where it is.
Yeah.
But so their generation, that would probably take them to the late 1800s, early 1900s, right?
I'm terrible at math.
Probably.
Sure.
Because like my grandma, like I just can think of my grandparents and their ages when they passed and stuff, and I doing the math, you know, I think my grandma was born in 1920 or something like that. So yeah, it'd be around like that kind of.
My grandparents were born in the 20s,
yeah,
or 30s.
A bit 20s. Of history for you. So that's how far back they go. Like 19th century Melbourne. Now I wonder what, like Melbourne in the 19th century, there'd be fucking nothing here.
It was pretty established. There's that page on Instagram that I follow that posts all the old photos, and they post like comparisons of Melbourne in like the 1900s. They'll be like, this was Elizabeth Street and Collins, and then they show a photo of it now. It's really interesting. I
remember seeing the one about Chadstone when Chadstone opened in the 60s, was it?
Think about then, yeah.
Because if you don't know, we live like right next to Chadstone. I can kind of...
Not right next to it,
well, but... pretty close
what a
to
shit
it.
Spot.
We walked to it the other day though.
We did.
It took us like 30 minutes to walk there, but it was you know, just to give you context of where we live, because I feel like we can kind of dox ourselves now that we're moving.
Here is our address.
Here's our address. These are the times that we're not home if you want to come through and take nothing, because there's literally nothing
There's
here.
nothing left.
So it would be funny. It would be funny if like someone like tried to break into someone's house as they're like moving countries or just moving in general, and their house is like empty.
They
and,
come
like,
in and they're like, damn, someone beat us to it.
or they feel bad for them, go rob other houses and furnish their house.
Jesus.
Like, these people are down bad. We need to help them out.
You have a wild imagination.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
That's just where my brain just goes. I'm like, what's the most ludicrous thing that could happen in this scenario? And that's probably it. It goes back to the whole thing. I don't know if like you probably didn't talk about this stuff about your friends when you were teenagers, but we always thought, oh, it'd be funny if like you broke into someone's house, but you didn't take anything, but you would leave random stuff. Like you would like make them a cake and just leave a cake, and they'd be like, where the fuck did this cake come from? And just kind of confuse them.
no.
Nah? Okay.
No.
Yeah, I had a weird set of friends.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Back to Melbourne.
Back to Melbourne. Sorry.
I don't know. Yeah, my family's always been here and I've always lived in Melbourne. I've never lived anywhere else. I never thought I'd want to live anywhere else. But pandemic changed me.
Melbourne till I die.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I knew I'd never move anywhere else in Australia. Like I haven't been everywhere in Australia. There's still quite a few states that I haven't been to, but I don't know, just love it here. It's great.
Yeah. And from someone that's lived here for nearly 9 years now, because I moved here in 2013, January 2013, I can say the same. Like, well, you know, I lived in New South Wales, Queensland, and now Victoria. And this is definitely the highlight, 100%. Only because, like, probably for like a whole myriad of things, you know, like reasons why. But yeah, this city is fucking definitely where it's at in Australia. So if you ever think of moving to Australia, come to Melbourne.
Melbourne's the place.
Don't come to Sydney. Don't. I see you looking at the Harbour Bridge. No.
They're thinking about it.
No, don't fucking. I'll come after you. Fucking come after you. Don't do it. Don't go to Sydney. Do you think Canada has the same rivalries between Vancouver and Toronto than it does?
Sure.
Oh,
For sure.
But we're Team Vancouver.
We are.
Yeah.
Vancouverites.
Yeah.
Vancouverians?
Vancouverites is the right term, I do believe.
Melbourneites.
Oh, shit.
No, Melburnians.
Oh,
Fuck.
yes. Fuck. No,
I tried.
Thank God we're moving. It's like we release this podcast. It's like a mob out the front of our fucking house with pitchforks, being like, they said the wrong one. Fucking get them.
I'm sorry. I love you, Melbourne.
Yeah. So yeah, you've been here forever.
Forever. My whole life.
What, like, I was trying to think of a way to word this in a way that would be entertaining, not so much like educational for people, but like what changes have you seen? Like, obviously where you folks live, I don't want to say that, but like Caitlin's folks live far out somewhere, and they've seen like a lot of development happen lately because it's like, you know, those outer suburbs type things. But what kind of changes and developments that you've seen more so in like the inner kind of area of Melbourne that's been like fun for you in a sense?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think like the first thing that comes to my mind is like Emporium and like the Melbourne Central area.
Oh yeah.
Because I have lots of memories as a child going into the city with my grandparents, and they would take us like on the tram and we would have like a whole day in the city with my cousins, and it was lovely. And like we would go to Bourke Street Mall and like walking through to Melbourne Central and seeing that big clock that sings.
Oh my God.
Waltzing Matilda clock. Yeah, going to that.
Melbourne is healing when there's a group of tourists around that clock.
But yeah, like just going in there and just spending the day with my grandparents, like as children, and now seeing like all the renovations they've done to the area, but they've also kept like the heritage frontage of all the buildings, like on Bourke Street, like the GPO building.
Yeah. What was Emporium before it was Emporium? Was it a shopping centre and it was just called something else, or?
I can't remember.
Right.
Like my My memory is kind of like you'd walk through Maya from Burke Street
Yeah.
in the direction of Melbourne Central.
I want to Google
But then I don't remember. I think it just used to be Maya, like it was an extension.
Like that whole building?
Because it's like that whole other block. I don't remember what was there.
Yeah, well, I'm Googling it now. What did...
I remember on like the north side of Melbourne Central, there was like a big car park, but now it's all been like developed.
Yeah.
I can't remember what Emporium was.
Emporium Melbourne, Wikipedia. Fuck, I literally just said I don't want this to be educational. I want this to be entertaining.
No, but now I'm
now
like,
it's
I need to know what it
educational.
was.
Okay, because it opened in 2014. Because I remember when it opened, and it was like the cool thing. I don't know. I was still a nerd, like not a nerd, but I didn't know what it used to be. Yep, you're right. It used to be Maya. Yeah, because it used to be called Maya's Emporium.
Oh.
And then they just changed it to Emporium because they developed it further.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't know if I remember going to it or if my parents and my grandparents have spoken about it and then I think that I went to it. But there's like the food hall at David Jones, or maybe it's Maya. There's a food hall in David Jones, like downstairs. There used to be an old one in Maya or maybe the old one of David Jones, but I don't know if I remember going there or if my parents and grandparents would talk about going there and I think that I went there because I don't remember when they like renovated all of that, but that was a massive thing, having like food courts at the supermarket, which is quite American.
Oh yeah,
because like Coles used to have it as well.
Yeah.
Like a food court where you could like cafeteria style and get like hot food and
yeah, that's like
which I think it's pretty cool.
Super American style stuff. The stuff that a boy from a small town fucking dreams of. You've seen Rowan's Arcade and Ulladulla. How's it compared to Emporium?
Well,
they don't have a... Do they have a little Santa setup, a little Santa corner that's there like all year round? Probably not.
They do an
Santa's
Ulladulla.
chair. Yep, it's there all year round. I'm pretty sure
They don't even cover it or like attempt to move it. They just keep it there.
It's just there.
They're like,
It's
oh,
funny.
well,
They're like,
another 11 months, it'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be Christmas at some point. Let's just fucking leave it. Because like, what else would go in that nook? It's literally nothing.
They could do Christmas in July.
I'm pretty sure they
Considering
do
they're
Christmas
keeping
in
it out.
July because I remember growing up and like Christmas in July was a big thing as well.
Another childhood memory.
Yeah.
Going to the Santa photos at Maya. We would go into the city every year, like with the family, and we would get the photos with Santa.
in Maya?
It was in Maya.
Okay.
But I remember they used to have like it was in the kids section, and they had like this really old tree, but it was like a fiberglass tree. It was like a fake tree.
Hell yeah.
But I remember it being like really magical and beautiful, like what they do for like the top of Maya for Christmas at the moment, like that gifting section. It was like that, but 90s.
I remember the first time I went there was only 2 years ago to that top part for Maya's Christmas. It was fucking lit.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
It's mental.
There's like a train that goes through.
Pretty sure. I can't remember. Specifically, but I remember it was split between 2 floors, wasn't it? Something like that. The Maya's Christmas
God.
thing.
I don't know. It's been so long since I've been to retail.
It's been so long since like...
What is shopping in person?
It's been so long since everything's just been opened, which is kind of... It's whatever. It just global pandemic stuff.
What do you think? Like, what kind of things did you do when you first came to Melbourne? Like, what did people... Because I'm sure, like, when you move here from somewhere else, it's always like, you have to do Flinders Street, you have to do the Graves. Like, what did you do?
I remember when I first moved here, I lived in St Kilda.
First mistake.
The fucking first mistake, because I didn't know anything about Melbourne, but everyone was like, "Oh my god, St Kilda is like the best. You should go there." Don't listen to people from Brisbane. Just don't listen to anyone that doesn't live in Melbourne and says dumb shit like move to St Kilda but mind you, that's character building. Moving to somewhere like St Kilda because you see everything.
I mean, it can't get any worse than that.
Exactly. Well, I don't know. You could probably live out in fucking Pakenham or some shit, but you know.
Shots fired.
Shots fired.
Sorry to all of our listeners
just
in
like
Pakenham.
the Pakenham listeners are just like, oh, this motherfucker's dead. Just
Report.
Report. 1 star on iTunes for the podcast. Yeah, so when I first moved, oh my God, I just punched your knee up.
Got it on camera.
Got it on
Finally
camera.
got it, boys.
You got caught in 4K,
Boys,
motherfuckers.
let's get him.
Let's get him. Yeah, so my whole thing was St Kilda, but like that was fun because I didn't know what Melbourne was like because I've only previously been here on tours, so like touring, you just stay at your accommodation, you see the venue, you don't really see much else around. But I do remember going to the city a fair bit, only because it was all I knew. I didn't go to Chadstone for ages because it was such a bitch for me to get to because I didn't have a car.
Well, I never went to Chadstone until I was like a teenager with my mum.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it was.
But you never went as a kid?
No, it was the other side of the city. Like,
Yeah,
we would go
way
to the
too
city
far.
was where it was at. You would go to the city for all your shopping.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, that's fair. But
Yeah.
I didn't go to St Kilda until like probably 6 months or so.
Chadstone.
Oh, sorry. Chadstone, because I had to get the bus from St Kilda and like that. Don't ever get the buses in Melbourne.
No.
I don't. That one time that I got the buses to Chadstone, I think that was the one and only time I've ever gotten buses in Melbourne. Because after that, I was like, never again. That was the worst experience of my life, and I hated that. But it was interesting because I came from Brisbane, where it's nothing but buses, and like there's obviously train routes, but buses is very common.
I think the buses here are just for old people. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's just old people and school kids.
Yeah, I definitely felt young.
Everyone gets the train and the tram.
But
Where did you go in the city? Like, what were your like hot spots?
I just kind of wandered around. So obviously, I hung out with Aaron a lot because he worked at a shop in the city. So yeah, very, very good friend of mine, Aaron, who I met in Brisbane, also moved to Melbourne. And yeah, he was tattooing at a shop in the city. And again, I didn't really know anyone. This is after my girl and I split at the time. So I would go to the city basically every day, or nearly every day after he would knock off. And then we would hang out.
Where would you go? Tell us the spots.
I don't know. I honestly can't remember. I remember we would, because...
We used to go to that Japanese place between Melbourne Central. What's it called?
That Japanese place. I'm trying to remember.
And it was like $6.
Oh, yeah. That place is fucking lit. Yeah, okay. So I don't know the name of it, but there's this Japanese spot in between...
This is a terrible guide.
In between... It's down Little Lonsdale, is
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just that in between the two Melbourne Central buildings. And I think, I was just broke at the time, but it was like $6 plates of like Japanese food.
Because you took me there for one of our, like when we were like early days dating.
Yeah.
You took me there and I was like, wow, $6 a plate, huh?
I went all out. That's how you get them. If you show them your frugalness, they're like, damn, I want to be with this guy, not because I was broke as fuck. But anyways, yeah, so I'd go there a lot, but I would honestly spend a lot of my time on Chapel because I moved here for a job on Greville Street. And yeah, I would spend, obviously I spent every day on Chapel Street, but that's when I like kind of came to love everything about Chapel. And it's so hard to explain because I've never experienced it anywhere else except for obviously growing up in my small hometown where everyone kind of knows everyone. You always bump into someone down the street, and Chapel Street has that vibe if you've been there long enough.
Well, I feel like it used to have that vibe more. It's kind of shifted in the last like 5. I don't want to be that person and be like, oh,
gentrification.
It used to have a different vibe. It's definitely changed a bit. Like the Windsor end is still definitely where it's at, but
I feel like once American Apparel closed on Chapel, that was the decline of Chapel. Yeah, so after I lived in St Kilda, I obviously lived on Chapel Street, and that was the hands down the best years of my life. That was so much fun, and that's when we started dating, and then you would come over and would always be on Chapel.
I was always on Chapel anyway.
Yeah.
Because I studied at Swinburne.
So my question for you was, were you familiar or, did you spend a lot of time on Chapel Street prior to you being at uni?
I don't remember if I ever went. I remember one time that I went to Chapel Street before I went to uni there. Yeah. And it was when I was in year 9 at high school. We had a week of, it was called like Melbourne Experience or something.
Yeah,
because we
that's
lived
right.
out
I
in
remember you telling
like
me
the
that.
suburbs,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
would like every week, every day of the week, you would like get the train in, and it'd be with like teachers and everything, but you would sign up to different like activities to do. So there was, you know, like a food one, and they'd take you to like Fitzroy, and you'd go to like a restaurant, and they'd just like
Right.
introduce you to the city. But
What-
I did like a fashion one, like fashion, and they they took us to Chapel Street, and I remember buying like a random scarf from this random shop.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I think that was like the only time I'd been to Chapel Street before I studied there.
Right. And sidebar, that's really interesting that you did that in high school. Was that really common at high schools across Melbourne?
I don't know about across Melbourne, but I know other schools where I grew up did it as well.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because it'd be like suburban type thing. Because there's schools
Yeah.
obviously like in the inner suburbs.
Yeah.
Well, there's one just off Chapel.
Oh, those schools. I thought you meant my school.
Oh, no. God, no.
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 Yeah, my uni is now high school.
Yeah.
Paran High.
Paran High School, represent.
Yeah.
Which is like really interesting to see how Chapel Street's going to be now for all those high school kids there. Because that opened during the pandemic, right?
I feel like it opened a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that, or just before the pandemic
Maybe
hit.
that's why the crowds kind of changed. It's definitely like a younger crowd.
Holy shit, let's talk about that. Let's talk about our first night out of lockdown, hitting up Greville Street. And so we went to a bar called Mofo Lounge, which is just off Greville Street. It's a bar that my mate Callum and I used to frequent because we worked at that music studio together. Get you up to scratch. Callum, really good friend of mine. He's the whole reason why I moved to Melbourne in the first place, because he got me that job. So we spent a lot of time at this bar, and we knew coming out of lockdown that bar would be dead quiet. Sure enough, it was. We had the whole place to ourselves. It was fucking great. But holy shit, walking down Chapel Street that night, I felt like I was at schoolies. That was it.
I wouldn't know. I never went. Thanks, Mum.
People would probably see like the footage by now, and like of all the street park, because that was all the footage of like the first night of freedom. It was all Chapel Street.
Chapel Street. It was just where Revs is.
Yeah.
So anyone that doesn't know, Revs is a very well-known club.
Yeah.
In Melbourne on Chapel Street. Basically, it's just like a rave dungeon, and people go and stay there for days. But very
Literal
popular.
days.
Very popular.
I thought people were joking when I first moved to Melbourne, actually, and people told me like people go into Revs on a Thursday and come out Monday.
People would take bags, like a backpack, like an overnight bag.
Well, I was from Brisbane.
Weekend bag.
I was from Brisbane, and I was like, oh, a club open for that many days straight, impossible. But yeah, no, actually
But
happens.
then when they finally closed and kicked people out on like a Monday morning, people would then go to
Breakfast Club.
And
But
kick on.
it used to be something else. They didn't used to go to Breakfast Club. Breakfast Club was a newer one, but they used to go to a different spot after Revs on a Monday morning. What was that?
It was on High and it was on like near the corner, like just up from Crumpler, where Crumpler was, because now it's closing down.
Oh, okay. I thought
Like
they went
up
to,
towards
I thought they went to a
Domino's.
different place before Breakfast Club was a thing. Anyways,
Don't know.
Irrelevant.
Anyway,
But-
Revs couldn't open because, well, they didn't open. I don't know. They weren't open when everything opened.
They considered a club, not a bar. That's why they didn't open.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Because it's seated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they obviously just wanted to still send all the vibes. So they just like open the windows, and they're just like blasting the music onto Chapel Street. And there was just like a massive
Street party.
Looked like a Moomba festival, which you wouldn't know about because
I've
that's
never
a Melbourne
been.
thing. But
Never been.
people were like on the backs of cars, and like utes were driving down, and everyone's on like the tray.
Yeah.
Like
fire trucks were
Yeah.
going down with their sirens on, but not responding to emergencies. It's like someone's house is
the
on
vibe.
fire, and they're just like, "Shut the fuck up! We're trying to have parties."
Having a good
Someone's
time on
help
Chapel."
me! I'm burning to death.
help! He's escaping.
The killer is escaping. Yeah, but that was cool to see. Only in the sense of that's what reminded me of Chapel Street, but not so much the crowd, but the vibe of like, you know, I personally feel like Chapel Street's the heart of Melbourne. I'm very biased though, but only because of that. Like, it felt like a community. Everyone was having a good time. There was not one person that was having a shit time that night. You know, so probably
Icons of Chapel would say different.
Oh yeah, probably. You know, or there might have been unvaccinated people trying to get into bars, and it's like, haha.
But also the crowd. I mean, we haven't been out for a while anyway,
Yeah.
but just walking to the bar on the Friday night and seeing
all the young people,
like 18-year-old kids
And
who
yeah.
have like clearly missed out a lot during the pandemic, like not being able to go out.
Yeah.
But they looked so young.
I know. It made that shit
was-
made me feel old. When you turn 30, seeing 18-year-olds, you're like, you're not fucking 18, mate. You are 12.
Yeah, I was like, shouldn't you be in bed? Where are your parents?
Yeah,
Are
literally,
you okay?
where are your parents? Like, what?
Do you want me
the
to call
fuck?
someone for you?
Plus, because Chapel Street crowd was always like mid-20s up vibe, you know? Because I moved to Chapel Street when I was like 22, 23, and I felt young as fuck there compared to everyone else, because all my friends that I made on Chapel Street were late 20s. So there was like an evident 5-year age gap between me and my mates. So it was very jarring, I guess, seeing young people there. But I will agree, like, Chapel Street has changed a lot. Like that, what's that Morrison James bar or whatever the fuck it is?
Morrison Jones? Jones and
Yeah,
Morrison, I don't
something
know.
like that.
Yeah.
It's like there's this new spot that opened a couple of years ago, and I don't like it. I don't like it one fucking bit, because it's just full of pretentious fuckwits.
Well, I think it's in the wrong spot. I mean, the crowd, I think
Yeah.
only people who live in Melbourne will understand this,
I
but
know.
like there's different crowds along Chapel Street. So
Yeah.
you've got like the Windsor end to like Paran, which is like a bit more grungy and a bit more like what I think Chapel Street
Yeah,
is.
yeah, that's what we know Chapel Street as.
And then kind of the Paran to South Yarra end is like girls in
More
athleisure
bougie,
wear,
I guess.
taking their dogs to brunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit more bougie.
Yeah,
Or they
and-
try to be a bit more bougie.
and
But
when-
like the crowd is very different,
Yeah,
which is interesting because the Windsor end used to be the like kind of rough. I don't know. My perception was that it was a bit rougher.
I
Like
called it
Paran in the
character
middle-
building.
Like Paran in the middle was like your safe spot.
Yeah.
And then like South Yarra end was a bit bougie, a bit more expensive, slightly different demographic. And
Yeah.
then the Windsor end was a bit like, I don't know, like had a bit more grit to it. Whereas now, like, fucking love the Windsor end.
Yeah, exactly. Windsor end is definitely the
Where it's
vibe.
at.
And I've made the executive decision that when we come back, we are moving back to Chapel Street, because I miss the chaos. I miss going to get my coffee in the morning and have random people from Revs tickle my stomach. Remember when that happened?
Yeah. Tickle, tickle, wickle.
After they've come out from a night out, I miss, you know, having to go to a meeting early at like maybe like 8:30 and like walking past, you know, people from the commission flat screaming at each other. Like, you know, it's just vibes, bro. I just
Cut a
fucking-
vibe.
I just cut a vibe. Yeah, so like I've made that executive decision because I miss the chaos, because where we live now is kind of like, you know, suburban type thing, and
It's a family area.
like, yeah, sure,
Kind of stand out.
feels safe because everyone looks at us like we're gonna fucking rob them, so it's a nice contrast.
It's safe for us. Everyone
It's-
else doesn't feel safe.
Yeah, exactly. But I just, yeah, there's just something about this, because I don't think I spoke about this on podcast, but like probably a few months ago now, I pulled in. I think I came back from gym or something. But anyway, so there's a chicken shop around the corner. It's really good. Pulled in there to get pick up some chicken and salad for Caitlin and the whole family, and this Range Rover pulls in behind my car. Now I'm at the end of the parking spaces, so they pull in behind me, so they're parking when they're not supposed to, but they're a learner driver, and because they don't know what the fuck they're doing, they pulled in like halfway over the lane, and the mum gets out, leaves her fucking daughter in the car, and stands in line with the rest of us waiting for her food, and like everyone's beeping at them and stuff. And
It's also at the corner of a busy
oh, it's
intersection.
busy as fuck
So
there. Yeah.
She's in the way. And
Yeah.
I mean, a Range Rover isn't exactly like a small
It's not a
compact
Getz.
car.
Not a fucking gets.
Surprised she didn't mount the curb, to be honest.
Oh, she was nowhere near it.
Take her off road.
You needed to get a fucking taxi to get to the curb with the way she fucking pulled up. Jesus Christ. And yeah, and like the mum was on the sidewalk being like, just pull up, honey. Just pull up closer to the gutter. It's like she doesn't know. She's on a fucking L's.
Yeah, but mind you, also her mum is supposed to be
In the car.
with her.
Yeah,
if the car's running and you're on your L's, you need someone else sitting with you.
Yeah, exactly. So moments like that where I'm like, I fucking hate this area.
Just Malvern. I've done it now. Just Malvernese things.
Oh yeah, you can say Malvernese because I did say we're next to Chadstone. So do the math.
Malvernese.
Malvernese is where
It's been nice though. I've liked living here.
I have, but again, I missed the chaos in our lives. But yeah, the first night back on Chapel Street was a vibe. It was great being back at the Mofo bar because there was no one there. And yeah, I'm gonna miss it. I really, really am gonna miss Chapel Street and Melbourne as a whole. I think basically everything that we've spoken about. I don't think I have anything more to add to it. The one thing that I will say that I'll miss about Chapel Street, going back to the community vibe, is seeing people that in the area.
Oh, we always bump into someone on Chapel Street. Yeah.
Always. And it was so cool. You pull up to a cafe and you always knew someone there. Whether the people working there or someone that's there. It was so fucking cool. And I'm gonna miss that. And I'm sure Vancouver has a similar thing, and after being there for some time, we'll familiarize ourselves with different spots that we'll frequent, and we'll meet people there. So yeah, I think that's what I'm probably going to miss the most about. What about you? What are you going to miss the most about Melbourne?
Friends and family.
Yeah. That too. That's going to be the hardest part. I have a small
friend circle, but a very close friend circle.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's definitely going to be tough. I think I'm very much like a homebody, and I, love having
I'm sorry, I thought you were going to say I'm very much a hoe-body. I was like, fucking what now?
Wow. Okay, tell me how you really feel.
I'm just hoeing out.
No, I've always thought that, I could never live anywhere else because I love all of my things, and I like having all my, things where I like them, and I like being comfortable.
Yeah.
But I have discovered that all of those things, they're replaceable, because all of those things are not materialistic, but they are material things. And I always thought I could never leave because what about my nice bookshelf? And my plants.
Yeah, we do have a nice bookshelf though, to be fair.
We do have a nice bookshelf.
I really like that bookshelf.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? I always thought I couldn't move because of all of my things. I'm just very comfortable here and I know everything here so well. But that it doesn't matter because it's replaceable, and it'll be here when we come back.
Yeah, exactly.
I can buy more plants when I come back, which I will be.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be back living in that Jumanji life,
But friends and family, obviously we can still talk to them online and FaceTime and all of that, and they're all gonna come and visit us.
Yeah, fucking earth, come the fuck through.
Yeah,
I better see you in Vancouver 2021
and 2022
and 2022. Yeah, because the flights have dropped dramatically in price. I checked the other day. If you don't know this, flights, if you want to go to do an LA round trip from mid-November to mid-December, they're back to $1,200. And before, when I checked, just as New South Wales were opening up their international border, they were $4,500 round. And I was like, damn, United really be doing robberies in this bitch, because that is a highway robbery for that much price to LA. But yeah,
so no excuses for our friends.
No fucking excuses. If I don't see you in our bed in our new apartment in Vancouver, I'll fucking come after you. Okay?
What, you're gonna come back here?
No, because flights are a little bit too much expensive. So maybe
it didn't work out how you thought it would.
Yeah, no, it didn't work out. That really didn't work out the way I wanted it to.
Can we also just note that we're matching? Yeah,
we're opposite. The brown and the brown and the black on the black. It's nice, and the white on the white skin, because you're pale as fuck. That was 2 words away from being a white supremacist thing.
Jesus, I was like, where is it? No, we're moving on from that. That was. What are you gonna miss about Melbourne?
Well, I already mentioned that.
Yeah, what else are you gonna miss?
Probably only because this is the longest that I've been somewhere. So I lived in Brisbane for 2.5 years. I don't think that's enough to kind of really familiarize yourself with spots. Like, you know, it was different there as well because I was going to film school. So, you know, I didn't really have the luxuries that I have now, whereas like I can just hit someone up, go to a cafe and those kinds of things. I was a broke student. But yeah, like after being here for so long and building those kind of routine things, I guess you could say. But yeah, I don't know, like probably like the creative community here is fucking sick. I'm probably going to miss that the most, and, you know, obviously friends and family as well. But I think it was just more so it's been cool seeing everything change for the whole, you know, nearly 9 years I've been here, and, you know, the six years that we've been together as well. You know, we've had friends that have gone married and had kids now, and like seeing their kids grow up, which is fucking insane. So yeah, I don't know, like I'm probably going to miss those foundations that we've kind of built here. But at the same time, we're fucking moving to Vancouver.
We can start fresh.
Yeah.
We can throw ourselves into the deep end, really.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I want to end it on in terms of what we're excited about with moving to Vancouver, because I'm excited to go back to those roots that I had when I first moved to Melbourne, where I didn't know anyone, didn't really know what the fuck I was kind of doing in terms of my career and navigating my everyday life. But all I knew is that it felt right. I was having a good time. And yeah, that's what I'm most excited about, moving to Vancouver. How about you? I've got more to add, but yeah, go on.
My turn.
Yep.
I'm just excited for everything to be new, just literally everything. Like I'm excited to just walk down the street and see new trees. Like it's just going to be the little things.
Yeah, seeing the new trees is going to be like, and like the air and like the clouds as well. Clouds are different in the Northern Hemisphere than they are here.
Northern Hemisphere Christmas.
Yeah, white Christmas.
Well, maybe. It doesn't quite. I mean, everyone, as soon as we say Vancouver, they're like, oh my God, Canada, it's so cold. Oh, it's going to be snowing. It doesn't really get that cold in Vancouver. Toronto, it snows and gets really cold over Christmas. But Vancouver, I mean, I feel like it doesn't really get any colder than what it does here in Melbourne. Like it's quite a similar climate, except it's, you know, opposite. But Christmas will be really fun. Yeah.
I'm very excited for Christmas because it'd be good to see like the vibe around Christmas in a colder atmosphere than it is here, where everything's fucking hot.
I've never had a cold Christmas before.
Neither. Actually, that's kind of a lie because there were a bunch of Christmases growing up in Ulladulla where it would just rain.
Oh,
like,
no, but I mean
day,
like a Northern Hemisphere Christmas, not like it was a cold day on Christmas.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's still summer here.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
I'm a filthy fucking liar. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you are.
That's gonna be really cool. Like just having everything new. We get to start fresh again. We get to find new cafes. We get to meet new people. We get to like build those foundations again. Just rinse and repeat. You know, that's all we're gonna do. You know.
For you, I've never lived anywhere else.
Yeah, that's true. You know, and like. Yeah, because obviously it's a lot harder for you because you've lived here your whole life, whereas me, I've just moved. I just moved.
You've moved a lot.
I just moved like it's nothing, you know?
Yeah.
I lost count on how many houses I've lived in. I think I've lived in 6 or 7 houses since I moved out of home, something like that.
Well, that's not too many.
It's not too many, but, you know, it's over the space of 12 years. I think that's a lot.
Yeah.
Once every 2 years on average, something like that. I don't know. Whatever. This is just turning into
one-upping each other.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be one of those people. That's like those TikToks where people make fun of those people. Just watch out, because that's gonna make a lot of noise.
Oh, sorry.
It's making a lot of noise on
that. Just ruined it.
You did, yeah. We have to scrap the whole podcast and start
again. All right, let's start again. Sorry, guys.
Welcome to the final episode of Being in Australia. But yeah, no, it's wild. This is the only time we've gotten to do this podcast because we're stacked for the rest of the week. We're seeing everyone and doing a lot of things. Starting in a few hours, we've got to head to the chapel and do a bunch of shit as well. But yeah, I'm very hyped. This is definitely the craziest thing that I've done, even though I've spent a lot of time overseas. Moving somewhere overseas is completely different, so it's definitely a lot more hectic this time around.
I'm excited for us.
Yeah, this is fucking sick. We're moving to
Yeah.
Canada in fucking 6 days, bruh. Or in 7 days, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because we're moving, and it went from, it felt like we were saying for ages, oh, it's months away, it's months away. Now it's literally next week.
Yeah, I think it's because it's been such a long time in the process. I still haven't, like,
Yeah.
obviously it's still very exciting, but when we were doing all the visas and doing all of that stuff, that was very much exciting. But it's all been locked in for a while, so I've kind of just not gotten over it, but like the hype has died down, and like, because we've been in lockdown, it's hard to grasp that we're, you know, going to Sydney to then go to Vancouver, where
Exactly.
we've just spent 200 and how many days?
In 200 and, what was it, 260 or 270 days?
We haven't been able to
Long
go
time.
further than 15 kilometers, so
Yeah.
even just jumping on a plane is going to be bizarre.
Yeah, the first time we're on a plane in 2 years is when we're moving overseas. It's a one-way ticket, which is that's really cool. That's like some fucking, you know, Christmas movie shit that you hear, you know, that's not,
Yeah.
that's not your everyday kind of thing. But I just kind of want to, we're hitting an hour, folks. We're going to wrap this shit up. But I just want to say that, like, from my perspective as well, I just want to kind of finalize it by saying, you know, it was about close to a month ago now, that was 10 years that 10 years ago, I got paid my first ever film job. It was $50
Wow.
for $50 and a 6-pack of beer for a clothing label. And I fucked up because I told them the beer that I liked, and they gave me the beer that I didn't like. And then I checked back on the messages, and I realized that I told them the beer that I didn't like for some reason. I don't know why. I'm fucking
Isn't that
stupid.
all beer? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
beer
beer's
is
fucking
trash.
gross. I don't drink beer anymore. But at the time,
It just destroyed it for you.
it just fucking, it just ruined it for me. And then that's when I decided that I never want to be a filmmaker. No, but, you know, I started this fucking insane journey 10 years ago. And 10 years ago, I never fathomed that I'd move to a different country. And yeah, I don't want to do the whole, if you set your mind to anything, you can really do it, because I didn't set my mind to this. It just
Yes,
fucking
you did.
well, like I set my mind to traveling overseas for work, which I accomplished, like, you know, probably 7 years ago now, 8 years ago, which was really cool. But I never fathomed when I started doing it, when I first got paid for my first gig 10 years ago, that I would now be moving, because that's fucking like, that is wild. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. I don't want to be like one of those fucking motivational people that's like, if you really believe in something, you can do it. But I just want it to be, you know, living proof, you know, like we did the whole visa process ourselves. We have done basically everything ourselves in terms of the whole moving process. We've been very independent. We're not relying on other people for it. And yeah, I want that to kind of be living proof that coming out of this pandemic especially, you know, just fucking switch things up if you want, you know, if you're feeling down about it, because that's how we felt about it, and that's why we're fucking moving. Yeah, like, I don't know, switch things up. I don't want that to come across as people fucking splitting up with their partners or anything like that, but
Why would you go there?
I don't know because
You were
I'm
saying such a nice thing, and then
I ruined it. It's what I do. I always ruin nice things. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, you know, if you're feeling stale, switch it up. And I don't know, like, you know, maybe you'll love it, maybe you'll hate it, maybe we'll hate it. We don't fucking know. All we know is that we just want to change, and change is good. And yeah, how about you? You ever thought that, you know, 10 years ago you'd be married and moving overseas with your husband?
no, especially after the year and a half that we've had, definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm very much still like processing it. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's all just going to kind of hit me when we get to the airport.
Yeah, it feels real. It definitely feels real now because our house is empty as fuck.
And Leroy's gone. He's gone to my
Yeah.
parents.
Poor fella. He's having a great time though. Fuck me dead. I tell you what, he's gone from being a little suck up to being like, you know what, I'm good. I don't need you guys anymore. I got Caitlin's parents. I'm good, man. I'm just vibing out. We're getting daily updates, and it's like he's in a fucking 5-star resort.
Oh, he loves it.
He's acting,
at Nana's
acting
house.
as if he's hated living here.
Oh, no, he's just settled in very well. Like, he's
Yeah.
obviously been at my parents before, but
Yeah.
he's He's doing great, and
Yeah.
I'm kind of upset because I'm like, don't you miss us?
Yeah, what's
I thought
going
he'd be
on?
upset because
Yeah.
I'm upset, but
That's right. We'll come back for him.
yeah, we will.
Obviously, we're not neglectful parents.
No,
But yeah, I just want to. Okay, all right. I think that's it. So yeah, thank you.
wrap it up.
Yeah, well, we're going for over an hour now. I think that's good enough for people to kind of consume and say questions. But in saying that, if you have listened this far, thank you very much for tuning into this very special edition episode of the Mates Race podcast, the final one here in Australia. The next one that you'll see will be in Canada. We'll be covered in maple syrup and, saying oot and a boot and, having our loonies and toonies as well.
Our toques.
Our toques as well, because it'll be cold.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for everyone that's listened to this podcast throughout this crazy, journey that I've done with it. I've enjoyed myself thoroughly, and I've really enjoyed having you on the episode, honey.
It's great to be back.
Because it's a repeat offender. No, it feels great to have someone else here that I can bounce ideas off, because I think of something funny and I say it and I laugh and I hear nothing afterwards, and that little dead space, I die inside, But if you have any questions that you want to ask us about Canada and our life in Canada, feel free to either drop a comment below on this YouTube one if you're watching the video one. If not, I have an email, matesracepod@gmail.com. Let us know if you have decided to switch things up as well after the pandemic. If you've moved overseas or if you decided to change careers, I'd love to hear what other people have kind of been up to. But in saying that, thank you very much for listening to this episode, this very special episode with my very special wife.
Thank you.
And that's my wife's key to say thank you.
Pleasure being here.
And we'll see you guys in another country.
See you when we're in Vancouver.
Yeah, I love you.
Yeah, love you.
All right. We'll see you guys.
Bye.
Bye.